This is WCPO 9 News.
Thanks for joining us for WCPO 9 News. I'm Tanya O'Rourke. Here's a look at some of today's top stories. The University of Cincinnati is reviewing allegations about its men's basketball program. Now, this comes after the Bearcats lost in the conference championship game. Then 6 players entered the transfer portal, meaning they intend to leave the program. It's not clear why those players are leaving or what the allegations concern, but the university did release a statement Friday. It says the University of Cincinnati, in conjunction with independent fact finders, will commence a review of allegations related to its men's basketball program. UC's athletic director, in his own statement, said the university has always put the welfare of its student athletes first. We feel this is an essential step to ensure that all of our athletic programs meet the highest standards. Cincinnati leaders say they will use federal stimulus money to help local restaurants. The city's getting $292 million from the American Rescue Plan. The city manager is setting aside funds for phase 2 of a restaurant grant program.
This is a program that we worked on with the Chamber of Commerce, and Brendan Call helped organize for us. And we are going to be dedicating $4 million of our federal funds to provide emergency grants to bars and restaurants to get them through this last month or two when everybody gets vaccinated and we can go back to normal.
Another $2 million would support an outdoor dining grant program. City Council has to sign off on the idea before those funds are distributed. A new series of free concerts from ArtsWave starts today. Find Arts in the Parks at DeVue Park in the Bandshell from 1 to 5. Performers include the Redemption Brothers, Tracy Walker, and the Kentucky Symphony Orchestra's DeVue Doodaddies. ArtWave says the venues for each monthly concert will rotate with multiple performances for each show.
Hi there, I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Raleigh. Looking at our Saturday here, we've got some nice sunshine after a few clouds in the morning. Temperatures get to the low 70s. Then for tomorrow, well, it looks like things are going to be much cooler. Temperatures only in the mid 50s. And in between here, for later tonight, overnight, we're going to see some rain that could get left over into your Saturday morning with a couple of storms too. You'll notice into next week, we're keeping an eye on opening day. It looks cool for our Thursday.
Hey guys, WCPO 9 News reporter Jake Ryle here in Hamilton. A sign of what's to come. Businesses are popping up all up and down Main Street here, and city officials calling it a renaissance.
There's 25,000 plus cars that go by this building every day. Soon there's going to be a reason for those cars to stop.
Dave Ernst has his eyes on the future, turning this old building into something new. Hamilton's urban backyard, or the hub.
Something kept pushing. You got to do something. You just got to keep going forward. Because if we all just stop, what we have to look forward to. We wanted to make a difference in this city and difference for our kids.
Inside, you'll soon be able to grab one of 16 beers on tap.
There'll be a commercial glass door that opens up to the backyard area.
And outside, 7,000 square feet of outdoor space with picnic tables, fire pits, and food trucks. Ernst says his excitement goes beyond the space.
Every day there seems to be a new announcement.
1 block east, a $2.5 million renovation will turn this former body shop into an agave and rye restaurant. A block from that, Billy Yanks, a burger shop and bourbon bar, is set to open in May.
Extremely excited. This kind of fills in the missing link for Main Street. There's a lot of activity at the other end, and there's a few shops down at this end, and this creates a destination point for this end of Main Street.
Dan Bates, Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce president, knows these businesses will draw in foot traffic. Momentum one step at a time.
Now that everything is opening back up around us, we're not reopening, we're full speed ahead.
As the city welcomes new growth.
We want this to be the hub for further development.
Jake Ryle, WCPO 9 News.
People are rapidly seeing changes once they receive the COVID-19 vaccine, but not everyone in their families, like children, can get it. So we asked, what's safe?
If you're starting to lean into those family photos again because you have the COVID-19 vaccine, you may have thought, what about the kids too young to get it?
Yeah, both of them are below 16.
We met Tara DeHall, his wife, mothering kids outside their home to talk about how the vaccine has changed their lives.
We can relax, we can go each other, we can go to the parks, we can have get together. We'll be back to our normal life.
And Hamilton County Public Health Commissioner Greg Kesterman says, generally speaking, that's safe for adults who are vaccinated.
Grandma and grandpa can finally get back together with their children and grandchildren and hug and not wear masks. Kids are generally speaking less likely to transmit COVID as an adult or a teenager.
There's a graph he gave me to help me understand what prevention methods you should take if you want to have a play date. If it's just your household and one other household, and at least one of those have been vaccinated, no mask or prevention methods needed, unless someone in the unvaccinated house is high risk. More than 2 unvaccinated households at one location, like out to eat, family reunions, mask, social distance, and wash hands.
The best guidance for getting groups of people together would still be to do so outside. And if you're not able to maintain social distance, we're going to recommend that you wear masks.
If you want to vacation with another family,
you could look at doing some testing before vacation. Each family really has to make a personal choice on what they're comfortable with.
Some of you asked, what if your child is over 16 but does not want the vaccine? Or they do want it and you don't want them to have it? Well, Hamilton County Public Health says kids need parental permission to get it, and parents have the power to stop their child from getting it. The DeHalls say that's not an issue for them.
We feel very comfortable now.
I have reported on how to navigate the vaccine registration process in Ohio. I'll put a link to that in the story on our website, WCPO.com. Reporting in College Hill, Courtney Francisco, WCPO 9 News.
The latest census information is that about 1% of the Brown County population is African American, and in that small number, there is mixed feelings about whether or not to take the COVID-19 vaccine. Still, word of mouth and drive-through vaccination centers like this one are a grassroots effort by the Brown County Health Department to get information and doses to those that need it.
I was going to all websites here and to the Eastgate area and the Anderson area, and putting my name on their list.
Dorella Grant, like many in Georgetown, is eager to get the coronavirus vaccine. She joined lines of cars at a Brown County vaccination drive-through to get one of 2 doses.
I know it's not going to cure it, but it could lessen the severity if you should get it. It's just like back in the day when you were coming up, you got the polio, you got the measles.
But on her first attempt to get the vaccine, she was turned away because of a limited supply.
Probably wasn't 2 days later, the health department called and asked me if I needed to still get a shot.
Grant is not alone. The Brown County Health Department to date has given more than 6,000 vaccines to residents. Marjorie Pelt says it has been a grassroots effort to reach people who live out in the county.
We don't have public transit. We don't have a hospital in our county. We rely heavily on our doctor's offices that are here.
Pelt says her office has worked closely with the county's only weekly newspaper to get applications to residents who don't have access to printers. And when it comes to getting that info to the Black community, it has been about word of mouth.
All of us here know people throughout the county because we're from here and we've been here.
But not everyone in the county's Black community is on board with the vaccine. Gerald Alford pastors the First Baptist Church in Ripley, Ohio. He says his congregation, which largely includes elderly Black people, has shared mixed thoughts about the vaccine.
Say, they're not taking it because of the Bill Gates situation, or some of them say that they're not going to take it because of the Miss Evers project. They were told they would be given one thing and all of a sudden, boom. My thing was, I just don't want to be 5 years from now, I hear a commercial. If you've taken this vaccine, please call the attorney office.
He says it's the country's history of using Black Americans as guinea pigs that causes mistrust. Despite his doubts, Alford says the choice to get vaccinated is up to each person in his church.
I tell them, don't, because I'm not taking it, don't you take it. Let that not be the reason you take it. My faith is what keeps me going. And just as it did with the children of Israel, I'm fine with it.
In Brown County, Whitney Miller, WCPO 9 News.
I'm real old, man.
Ronald William jokes all the time, but at 65, he and fellow home health care worker Natalie Johnson.
I missed my last year's birthday. I spent it in the house by myself, cooked my own dinner. This year, I want to be out somewhere and I want somebody to cook for me.
Have simple dreams the vaccine they almost skipped might bring to life.
I was scared because of what they say the side effects are. We don't get the same type of health care as everybody else. One time I was in the hospital, couldn't even hardly stand, and every time I stood, I passed out, but I still got sent home.
It's too much history of disparities. I've experienced it firsthand. I'm a veteran. I was a medical specialist in the Army. There's a particular hospital that I go to. I'm not going to make reference to the name. I went in with an elevated temp. The nurse communicated, that's not she tried to minimize, that's not an elevated temp. I said, wait a minute, man.
We have to find it in our hearts to step above. People are dying. I know probably 10 people who have passed, so I just was determined. I'm not going to let oppression stop me from taking care of my health. I'm just not going to do it.
Initially, I was hesitant, but I stayed in tune. I did my research, consulted with people, professionals, got feedback, facts. Then I had to proceed and come in.
The first location I came to, I was first in line that day. And I was there for like 2 hours, and long story short, they sent me home without it. They were all white. And I kept trying to be patient, but I felt some kind of way. You know, I'm like, I told the lady I was first in line, and it's an hour later. Why am I still here? And she kept telling me they couldn't find my paperwork. They couldn't find my paperwork. I was hurt. I left there with tears in my eyes, like, they don't even want to vaccinate me, and all of this is going on. But I'm not going to let fear stop me. I'm going to fight through whatever I had to fight through to get to the other side.
Doors and room for both to get shots opened in Springdale. Right after getting second doses, this once skeptical pair left empowered and felt protected. Larry Seward, WCPO 9 News.
Get ready for a wave of evictions in April. The national moratorium on evictions due to the pandemic expires March 31st, and some tri-state landlords are already kicking people out for non-payment. This is what Ayanna McClure found when she pulled up to her apartment in Avondale one day this past fall. Painters were taking everything out and putting in new locks.
Because this is my apartment and they changed the locks.
This healthcare aide tells me she lost a month of work over the summer and had fallen behind on her rent.
So it was no way I could come up with like $2,000 or $3,000.
Ayanna, who's now staying in a local women's shelter, says she was evicted despite the eviction moratorium.
I guess like the first day that he could file the eviction, he did it.
She's not alone. 3 days after Christmas, we found Amanda Barger and all her belongings tossed out of her rented mobile home in Cleves.
I know this is a business and you gotta pay your own way, but they could have a little, kindness.
The good news for renters behind on their payments, the national moratorium on evictions has been extended into the new year. The bad news, there are still many reasons why a landlord can still legally kick you out.
Disturbing your neighbors, not maintaining, keeping the apartment clean, those sorts of lease violation or tenant violation duties.
Nick DiNardo of Legal Aid says tenants need to know the eviction moratorium is not automatic. You must submit a CDC form available at the CDC or Legal Aid websites or your local library. The moratorium only applies to financial hardship.
There are plenty of people who are being evicted right now.
Among them, these two women. In both cases, their landlords told us there were other reasons besides late rent. With the moratoriums on evictions expiring, take that stimulus check or tax refund and make sure you pay your landlord first so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese, WCPO 9 News.
A devastating end to this 7-month-long saga. Court documents say Dominic's mother and her husband tried to hide his body in this West Side apartment. His father tells me he is looking for the highest level of justice.
My whole world has changed. I'm hurt. I done lost my son, my twin, my oldest boy.
Marcus Allen can barely stand to recall the past 7 months.
I really can't explain how I feel. I'm angry.
He recently learned that the body found in December in this Westwood apartment belonged to his 19-year-old son, Dominic Allen. Police say Allen was first reported missing back in September.
I got a call from Michael. He says you need to go up to her house. They believe they found the body. I stood frozen for a moment. 72 days. 72 days went by before y'all found my son.
According to court documents, Dominic's mother, Kenya Stallworth, and her husband, Robert Robb, tried to conceal the body under clothes and behind a sealed door where investigators say the body was decomposing. Stallworth and Robb are charged with gross abuse of a corpse and tampering with evidence in connection to Allen's death. Marcus Allen says he wants nothing but justice for his son.
I want them to get everything that's coming to them.
And he has a message for anyone that will listen.
The children are our future. Stop killing them, please. I don't want nobody else to have to go through what I'm going through and what I'm dealing with.
In Westwood, Whitney Miller, WCPO 9 News.
Paul Montgomery hopes his Pig Candy Barbecue, which will open March 26th in California, Ohio, both honors the neighborhood's history and builds towards a future he and his wife dreamed of years ago.
My wife and I, or other half and I, Christina, she's also my business partner, kind of came up with the goal of opening our own place about 7 years ago. And then we stumbled upon this building 5 years ago, and it's been quite the process.
Pig Candy's building served as California's police station in 1913. The barbecue restaurant's basement kitchen was once the station's horse stables.
We saved as much of the historical charm as we could, but then at the same time, a 100% complete remodel.
Pig Candy includes a dine-in area, grab-and-go counter, and outdoor seating that can accommodate about 70 people. The restaurant's decor reflects the history of the California community.
We've got a town historian named Jackie. She's 93 years old, born and raised in California, Ohio. She let Christina into her archive and go through all of her old photos. These are all old photos of California, Ohio, and Coney.
Montgomery said he hired longtime chef Luke Tranowski to run the kitchen.
It's the same barbecue, but different barbecue. Instead of the brisket, we're doing brisket 1 day a week, but we're doing the shoulder clod, which is an old school cut of beef.
Tranowski said Pig Candy will offer a few items not seen in most barbecue places.
We have a vegan geta, which is, everyone likes geta, so let's let the vegans enjoy too.
Tranowski said the vegan geta is just part of a healthier spin he's giving most of Pig Candy's side items.
We have a pasta salad, there's a grain salad.
Pig Candy will also offer gluten-free waffles.
As my wife and I have gotten older, we try to watch what we eat a little bit more.
Montgomery said he hopes Pig Candy helps fuel California's revitalization.
My wife and I have just fallen in love with this little community, this little river town.
For more information about Pig Candy, visit WCPO.com. I'm Brian Maines, WCPO 9 News.
We actually have more work than we do have available labor. So right now we are in a hiring frenzy.
Zach Kramer is managing director of Aero Elite.
We are a textile manufacturing facility. So we manufacture any type of soft goods from small bags to large engine covers.
Kramer says the problem is finding people who sew.
So that's been a very big challenge for us, mainly because the folks who do have sewing skills are typically older and they're at the end of their working career.
Aero Elite is partnering with Lois Shagog and her program Stitched at St. Francis Seraph Ministries Sarah Center.
It's a 5-week program.
Shagog created Stitch to offer training to the people experiencing homelessness and poverty who get meals from St. Francis Seraph and Over the Rhine. Because of the challenges of the COVID-19 crisis, she started with people who have steady jobs but wanted to learn to sew. That attracted students such as Mona Bronson Fuqua, who was married to a former WCPO freelance photographer.
So anytime you can increase your skill set, I tell my children, I tell the people I know, anytime you can add to your skill set and make yourself a more valuable option for any employer, that's a good thing.
She says she learned a lot.
I can use a sewing machine. I know how to thread a machine. I'm not afraid of it anymore. If they at least learn the basics of the more computerized machine, they can come in and at least know the lingo, threads, needles, cutting.
Kramer says that's what his company needs.
So the basic sewing skills are the same whether that's on a home-style sewing machine or a commercial sewing machine.
He says Aero Elite soon will launch an apparel brand called Citizen Label.
With that, we expect to increase our sewing by 3 to 5 times. So we're really excited for this label, and we specifically want to hire men and women that really need the job most in Cincinnati.
Lucy May, WCPO 9 News.
Hi there, I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Raleigh. We're going to start our weekend off with plenty of sunshine. Dry air has moved in and, well, it's going to be sunny from start to finish around here. As we head through the day, warm air brings us to the 70s, but you see the rain that comes in late tonight into the overnight for Sunday, and then cool air for tomorrow. So some changes certainly in our forecast. Let me show you how it's going to break out. First, for our Saturday, we'll see partly cloudy skies and then just a lot of sun and temperatures in the 70s for the afternoon. But overnight tonight into our tomorrow, we're going to see some rain and a couple of thunderstorms. In fact, we could see a few leftover showers tomorrow morning, and then cooler temperatures only in the middle 50s through the day. My 9-day forecast then shows how it stays cool Monday and starts ramping up to some rain on Wednesday. But behind that front, it looks like our opening day forecast right now is going to be on the cooler side.
The season's changing at Princeton High School.
What's that?
After 4 seasons at his alma mater, Mike Daniels left the Vikings.
It was extremely tough because you're talking about a place that is near and dear to my heart.
To become the director of on-campus recruiting at Army West Point.
Very exciting. I think I'm going to do a great job representing Cincinnati, representing Princeton while in New York.
Daniels' time at home proved seasonal, but he left his mark. The 2003 Princeton grad became the first black head coach to lead a GMC team to the playoffs.
I'm going to miss his energy, his enthusiasm.
Junior quarterback Makai Lynn says Daniels' impact went beyond the field.
He helped me grow out of my old childish young ways and helped me become a young adult.
While Daniels fell short of a state championship, he believes he laid a strong foundation.
We were able to, in 4 years, 4 recruiting cycles, give 38 kids scholarships.
Out goes Daniels, in comes Andre Parker, who leaves his alma mater Winton Woods to take over as head coach of the Vikings. In a statement to WCPO, Parker said, "I'm a guy who will work and do everything for the betterment of the program, school, and community."
Really significant, Reggie.
WCPO high school insider Mike Dyer says Parker brings instant credibility to Princeton.
Has done some amazing things, 6 playoff appearances. I think they have a 40-8 record since the Division II state runner-up season of 2017 there at Winton Woods.
So as the season changes,
coming to Princeton, you have to do better.
So does the temperature of the program. Reggie Wilson, WCPO 9 Sports.
I'm Raven Richard. One man's trash is another man's treasure, but that's not the case for one East Price Hill woman. It was a simple Facebook post on Saturday afternoon to the group West Side Best Side. Angela Hessen asked if anyone could pick up the litter outside of her unit at the Senior Chateau in East Price Hill. She wrote, "My apartment is on the first floor and I'm growing tired of looking out my windows every day and seeing cigarette butts and Kroger bags covering the ground." She even offered to pay. Within minutes, the responses started pouring in. Some people offered to do it for free or organize groups to clean it up. One woman even offered to have her Girl Scout troop help out. And what makes this story even more meaningful, Angela has cancer. Her treatments today left her so sick and weak that she was no longer able to speak to me on camera.
Climbed from that tree to this tree, and we met in the middle.
4th floor resident Daniel Taylor decided to help.
It was pretty bad. You can notice where we didn't clean.
Taylor didn't take any pictures, but he says picture this, then multiply it by a lot. Angela says 2 teenagers also stopped by to help, but she didn't catch their names.
Well, I was coming here on a call, and I seen some young guys picking up paper and litter from the front of this building.
Derek Hillman does maintenance at the complex and is also an East Price Hill resident. He says they clean up every day, but it's never enough.
But we have to come out and clean these grounds every, 5 days a week, so if we get any kind of help, it's a blessing. Did a good deed.
Through her window, Angela told me she's happy she can finally see the daffodil outside her window bloom. In East Price Hill, Raven Richard, WCPO 9 News.